Mall on the right hand. Penguin Duck birthmark. I'm Alexander Surya Gianni, born June 5th, 1984. It is 11:42, August 3rd. And like I said, I got to do that because these guys are always stealing my data and pretending my YouTube's theirs, my letters are theirs, my ideas, raps, guitar songs, things I say out loud is their material. Things I say out loud, pondering, and then type into my computer. They're typing before I even turn on my computer. So I got to do weird stuff like that. It's ridiculous. And the U.S. government's not arresting these people, which is even weirder. Or someone's not arresting them. I don't know, it's the government. But yeah, these people should have already been in prison a long time ago for like multiple life sentences from just data theft and IP theft alone, not to mention witness tampering and so much more. Covert assault, aggravated assault and robbery, aggravated assault and attempted robbery, etc. But yeah, the reason these guys got beef with me is because they're all posers and they've all been stealing money and property that's mine. It's all my money and property that I never knew about. I'm the guy who never knew, is what they would call me. And they used to say in 2018, he never knew and was never going to find out. So they were justifying theft of property and money that was mine. So I'm that guy. I'm the guy who lived at the Lob Sydney Center, 431 West, WEST. For some reason, one of these little telepathy goons who stalk me always like to say East. It's really West. I'm Alexander Surya Gianni. I always hear this Claudia girl saying East, East. Not true. I lived at West. I'm the guy who put the Mac authentication numbers in my GUI, the graphical user interface, so only my products could be used on my modem or router. That's what I attempted to do, but that's mine, amongst other things. I'm the med school notes guy, the today's facts will be tomorrow's fiction guy, consumption persuasion guy, Willie Lynch guy, amongst other random raps, MK Ultra, Sowing Seeds of Freedom, random guitar songs, Fruit of the Gods, all this jazz. Now, regardless of all this BS, yeah, they're controlling information in a weird way. I guess they feed people information in some controlled environment and tell them not to look at my real YouTube or my real Twitter, and then they feed them controlled information in some realm. I don't know how it works, but that's part of their hustle, so don't fall for that. And then they tell you don't look at his emails, don't look at his Twitter, it'll just confuse you. Don't look at his YouTube, and then they feed you fake versions of my YouTube wherever this controlled information is fed. So don't fall for that. But that's a key part of their hustle is controlling information and peddling misinformation. They're grade A oppressors and free speech silencers. They actually try to murder people for standing up for their rights as human beings and as Americans. But yeah, these guys all got beef with me because it's all my data, my thoughts, my ideas, my letters, my analysis. And then there's property I never even knew about. That's mine. I'm supposedly this Illuminati fellow. And people are like leaving me gifts and this and that. I'm also some betting mule. And they all knew I never knew where to get this money, have no clue how to get these gifts, have no clue where to get any of this jazz. I just hear about it all day. And they all got beef with me because people were telling me about it via telepathy, but little by little, and not telling me enough. They were telling me to make it look like I'd seen something I'd never seen in order to make me deal with some headache they created so they wouldn't have to deal with it. So that's a piece of this. But amongst other things, read my ways I get truth, and then you'll start putting. I made some key recognitions in that letter, and I'll show you how I'm getting truth, and then maybe some of the reasons why they were telling me stuff because it wasn't altruism. They're trying to set me up in some way to make it look like I'd seen something, and also make me try to deal with some headache that they created while they're also maybe trying to manipulate these quote truth beds, amongst other things. So don't fall for bullshit. But and I've been dealing with this headache ever since for 5 years and 5 months now because they control information. So I'm not even present to defend myself, which is just ridiculous. So I go to YouTube or I go to the president or I just send stuff to people because I don't know where to put it. Key point. That's why I'm always sending you guys random shit. So if you have any clue what I'm talking about, I need that information to get where it needs to be because I'm kind of fed up with, excuse me, I'm kind of fed up with dealing with this headache these people created. Regardless, yeah, they all got beef with me because it's all my science ideas, business ideas, tech ideas, Slack ideas, notes of my Peace, Justice, Unity iPhone, notes of my Justice, Peace, Unity iPhone, notes in my saved on my Mac, notes saved in my iCloud. They're my science thoughts, my random ponderings, all sorts of jazz, and they just steal them. My past ideas, my corporate custom security ideas, my real time Signaface with real time video, which is a biometric verification company, not an investigation company. My borders ideas, and don't fall for their hustle where they show you a fake version of my idea and then steal the farthest work through version of my idea and pretend it's theirs. They love that hustle. They even steal science before it's even started. Like I'll make some thought and they're already stealing it, put in some game or this realm trying to sell it, saying it worked, it worked. I'm like, who are these people? Go away. I've been writing to Intellectual Property Rights Commission about these guys since 2019 and IC3 since 2017, whoever these weirdos are. I've got some suspects, key point. But yeah, they all got beef with me because it's my material, data, content, raps, guitar songs, letters of law enforcement, my analysis, science, business, tech ideas, greater good ideas, etc. So that's why there's all this animosity towards the brown man. So I'll fall for it. Praise Jesus. I'm Alexander Suriajani, and no, I'm not religious. I just say it's a weird habit of mine. But it's a good thing that Jesus was a good guy. He deserves praise if he really could turn, two fish and a bunch of things to bring sight to the blind. But no, I'm not Jesus. They even try to say that. No, I'm just Gianni. I'm not claiming to be. I have no God complex, but these kids try to, because I have long hair, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, even though I did make a bringing sight to the blind idea, that's kind of why I said that, because then I was like, But I did make the bringing sight to the blind idea as well, the BCI, where, you have a camera here or somewhere comfortable, you have a blind man, and they have a BCI with the frame squat tactic devices where they can fire an image at the neural implant that you see in the mind's eye. Instead of using it for something negative, I was like, listen, I'm turning negative into a positive because they were testing this technology on me and using it to frame me and steal money and property. So I was like, well, how could this be applied? Because I was also thinking, what I was really thinking about is, the first thing I was thinking about this mind output jazz, and I was like, I wonder what a blind man's mind would look like. I mean, someone who's never seen the world and never experienced the world. I was like, well, how would a blind person perceive the world? Can they even perceive the world? Without any model or form, or do they just imagine what it could look like? Do they have aphantasia? I'm not sure. But I was pondering that, and I was like, the mind output would be pretty cool for that. And I was telling my dad about it, and he said something that spawned something. And then I thought, well, I may just bring sight to the blind. So then I thought, if they don't have aphantasia and they can actually formulate images in the mind, maybe you could have a camera, and that camera could feed into the mind output device, kind of like their frame squat tactics where they fire an image and you see it in the mind's eye. The camera, though, would feed into the device, and the external world would project in the mind's eye, and that's how the blind man would see. I made that idea in like 2019. It's in my Alex Gianni solo Slack. I'm Alexander Gianni, Alexander Suriajani, not a different Alex Gianni. They love that hustle too. Same with my letters, etc., etc. Supposedly a bunch of kids started changing their name to my name so they could say they were Alex Gianni. No, it's just been me the whole time, and those guys are the kids who changed their name to me are the posers, and they're everything negative involved with whatever my name's involved with. I'm everything positive. Bet my life on it. I'm the guy who's always at home playing the guitar, making raps, making ideas, and writing to law enforcement. Like, so many times it's scary. And then I'm the victim who's never seen the game, and a victim of controlled information and misinformation. So I'm never present. So all the posers are present to peddle their bullshit and pretend what I do, they do. And they hire these telepathy terrorists and mind melders, shitbags and other shitbags to stalk me via telepathy and steal my data. They stalk me via audio, etc. And have this army of scum stalking me 24/7, stealing anything and everything I say, type, etc., and pretending it's theirs, and then just putting it in this realm of controlled information and misinformation. So that's what I'm a victim of. But that's why they all got beef with me, because they know it's my data. And they also got beef with me because they couldn't program me and I wouldn't follow their orders, because they were trying to create some sort of Manchurian president or puppet president. They also got beef with me because I refused to listen to our, because I stood up for my rights as an American and as a human being, and I exposed this implantation jazz because it was a threat to humanity in the hands of terrorists. They got beef with me because I reported terrorism, which you're supposed to. If you're an upstanding citizen, you're not supposed to not report that. And you're supposed to report things that threaten humanity. So they got beef with me because I guess the threat's humanity. And they've been stealing from me. And they're these weirdo posers involved with frame bets too. So that's another key point. And they're trying to frame me so they can get away with theft of large sums of money. That's really mine. So that's another key point that I never knew about and still don't know how to collect. And they're still stealing from me. They were never supposed to steal from me ever again in 2019, supposedly. And they've still been stealing from me even into 2023. Key point. And they even had put me in some criminal game illegally in 2018. And I was never even supposed to be bothered or implanted, not Tomich, me. And they were stealing my med school notes and pretending my med school notes were theirs, et cetera, et cetera. And they've all been stealing from me. So that's another key point of whatever the hell this is. And I still haven't seen the game and never got pulled in. And I'm still telling these guys to eat shit, even today. What else is going on? But yeah, they all got beef with me, and they're all knowingly buying property that's been stolen and by some guy pretending my life is his and property is his when it's not. And he's been selling stuff to people illegally, and they all know he doesn't even own the property. And now I'm dealing with terrorists who think they own stuff because they bought it from someone who doesn't own it. Like I said, that's like seeing a house on my in my neighborhood and just like, you see that house? I'll sell it to you. I don't own it, but I'm going to sell it to you. And then this guy buys it and he's like, yeah, no, I own this house. And then he tries to hold the owner of the house hostage and claim he owns some house because some random criminal who doesn't even own it sold it to him. I mean, that's what I'm dealing with. This more than inhuman stupidity. So let's wake up here. So one of these guys going to prison. This is ridiculous. And it's a headache. And this Bologna character needs to go to prison. He's selling property he doesn't own. He's gambling with property he doesn't own, as well as Zeus and these other lunatics. Someone needs to do something, or Son, or whoever, or Kano, etc. It's kind of more than a headache for me because I'm kind of fed up with dealing with headaches and problems these guys created while controlling some world or game and selling stuff to people under my name illegally without my permission. And then also because these people are robbing people in some gambling ring, and then I'm the victim of their jazz. Yeah, I'm kind of fed up with dealing with being a victim of other people's crimes, being a victim of people's crimes, and then being a victim of, I guess, punishments for their crimes. Yeah, I'm fed up with that. These guys need to go to prison. This is ridiculous. And no one has any right to try to abuse me into finding or playing some game. I want real court in real life, U.S. Supreme Court, or whatever court is necessary. And these guys just need to go to prison. But I wrote all these letters too. The 3 DOJ letters. I wrote the first one in 2019. I was the first to write it. I actually wrote the first DOJ letter in 2018, but it was just short. And then I wrote a longer one in 2019. I was writing to IC3 in 2017 about all sorts of stuff, maybe 6 to 10 letters in 2017. Then I kept writing 2018, 2019. And then I wrote close to 4,000 to 6,000 pages worth of DOJ. All my letters are different. There's some similar information, but a lot of different information. So I'd read all 3 of them if you really want to get to the gist of their terrorist organization, their terrorist plot, their terrorist agendas, et cetera, and other ways they've been pulling hustles with this like peace, justice, unity game, and thoughts that they claim came to my mind when they didn't, in order to get certain technology or weapons made in order to then use in some gambling ring for betting manipulation. That's a piece of this. So there's all sorts of key information like that. Praise Jesus.